Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Today I am joined with Matt Clark. I'm sure a lot of you guys know him, and if you've been in e-commerce, Amazon space, I'm sure you've heard of the name. But Matt, maybe tell us a little bit about yourself, and we can go from there.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thanks, Arjun, for having me. So I've been doing e-commerce since 2009, like basically straight out of college. I had a job for about 7 months and then realized it wasn't really built to work for somebody else. And so find my way into e-commerce. Back then, it was all about selling on your own website. I did drop shipping. I did all that kind of stuff, made my way into private labeling just kind of by chance. And then I was one of the early people to really figure out there's a massive opportunity on Amazon. So like I found out on Amazon, I was just getting killed all day long because I did a bunch of SEO stuff back then, exact match domains and all that sort of thing. And Amazon just kept winning. And I was like, well, I should probably figure out how to actually sell on here since I can't beat them. And then I realized that nobody was really like actually marketing on Amazon. They were just feeding product from their stores. And so I was like, what if I put this keyword in my title? It ranked better. What if I got these reviews? It ranked better. What if I added a bonus to my product? It ranked better. What if I bumped up my price? I made more profit. And I was just figuring this stuff out on the fly because nobody was doing that stuff back then. So then ended up creating a program called Amazing Selling Machine, teaching people this whole model. It was kind of one of the first programs that really taught people the Amazon FBA kind of private label thing. And then that thing just blew up, created tons of success stories. Lots of people did extremely well. From our estimates, students have sold something like 10 billion online with that program, had about 35,000 people go through it. And then kind of over the past few years, kind of got my feet back into e-commerce from just the teaching and software kind of side and started building a coffee business that called Life Boost Coffee. We've done about $60 million in sales over the past few years. That's all Shopify. Plus now we produce about 10, 15% of our sales on Amazon. And so that kind of opened my eyes to the huge opportunity like outside of Amazon. So that's kind of the past 12, 13 years abridged in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's amazing. There's so much that I want to dive into, but obviously for the sake of this, we'll keep it to those highlights. One of the first ways that I got introduced to Amazon was from hearing about ASM. Not even,
Oh, nice.
I believe I took the program, like the second one,
Yeah.
but just hearing about everyone talking about it and saying, hey, have you heard about Amazing Selling Machine? They show you this and this and this on Amazon. You can private label. I think you guys might have pioneered the program world as well. And then everyone on the internet is kind of either taking the program or hearing about it and saying, hey, how does that work? Oh, it's you go source, you create the listing, you do the keywords, reviews, and then they just went on YouTube, and the information kind of spreads really quickly in our industry. So, but you guys did pioneer that, and I'm personally grateful for that as well.
Yeah, thank you.
What is you kind of touched on this with the mission of your life and your companies, but I kind of want to hear it again.
Yeah.
What is like the purpose of your company right now? What's like the mission and goal of it?
Yeah. So, I grew up with two parents that were entrepreneurs. They were divorced. Sometimes times were good, sometimes times were not good. So I kind of experienced the good and the bad. But then I had friends of mine who like, one of my best friends growing up, his mom was like a nurse, had two past kind of fathers of her kids. And so she was raising these four kids like all on her own. So they never had very much money. She was a nurse, was a pretty good job, but like raising four kids, like that's not enough. So they never had that much money. And so I think something along those times, like for me, just kind of like really did something deep down, wanting to like help people, make more money, be financially free, so then they can do all the other things in their life. And so what I've kind of found in business is like, if I'm not doing that part of the thing, like really helping people become more financially successful, then I don't feel fulfilled. And so to me, I've tried to work that into Amazing. Obviously, like we've sold courses for thousands of dollars. We've done other stuff, but it's kind of like, to me, it's all part of the same mission of like helping people create financial freedom. Because I found out like through ASM, there's a little bit of like a ripple effect. There's one couple from Romania who they didn't even speak English when they took ASM. They ended up building $1 million business. And with that, that's a lot of money over in Romania. It's a lot of money in the US too, but especially in a country like Romania. And so from there, they were able to like build a school and they inspired all these people. So there's kind of like this ripple effect of people that I'm never going to touch. So to me, having that impact is like the reason we do everything at Amazing. And the e-commerce stuff is kind of like a means to an end. I don't wake up every day and be like, oh my God, I'm so thrilled and fulfilled, selling coffee. Like I like our product. I drink it every day. I love it. I recommend it. My friends and family are subscribers. But I get a lot more fulfillment out of like actually helping somebody change their financial life and their family's life, and it just kind of lasts for legacy. So that's kind of why I do it.
Yeah, that's interesting that you say that. And I want to go on a little tangent
Sure.
on the financial freedom side. I think, like 100% of people are looking for that. And then I like
Yeah.
how you mentioned Amazon or e-commerce might be just one vehicle for that. But when we get that financial freedom, and what are some things that you use that for? For example, like money isn't the end all and be all, like you said.
Right.
But personally for yourself, like what has the wealth um or the freedom or the income from Amazon, what has it allowed you to do? I know that you look like you're in great shape. Maybe
Yeah.
it's health, maybe it's family. Maybe shed some light on that, because even for myself, I don't just want money to stare at. It
Yeah.
needs to be a means to an end.
To me, it's about being able to kind of like live how you want every single day, do whatever you want. Like it's like I feel like no matter how much money you have, you can put yourself in a position where you have to do a lot of stuff. Like you can have an income of $5 million a year, but if you spend $6 million a year, you're gonna have to keep doing stuff to keep that income up. Otherwise, you're gonna be broke. So to me, it's a matter of like if you make a bunch of money, then it's like you have the potential to have this freedom to live however you want, live where you want, work how you want, work on what you want, work with who you want, all those kind of things, as long as you keep your spending like within some reasonable amount compared to your income. So to me, that's what it's all about. It's like if somebody's terrible to work with, like I don't need the money. Like if a customer is terrible to work with, if it's a partner terrible to work with, an employee terrible to work with, I don't have to work with any of these people because it's like I don't need the money anymore. It's like I like to do it because it's kind of like a scoreboard and it allows me to do other cool stuff in life. And but to me, it's like having that freedom of saying like being more independent, I guess, saying like who I want to work with, how I want to work, where I want to work, what I want to do, what I choose to spend my time and energy on, how I divide up my time and days and stuff. Like, fitness is a important part. So yeah, I think that's to me, it's like it's the freedom to choose. Whereas like most people are so tied down to like they don't have those options because it's like if they don't go to work the next day, they get fired and all of a sudden their life starts crumbling. Or they may just not have enough money. So they're working with like an unethical, kind of terrible person. Could be a business partner, boss, or whatever. But if they stop working with that person, all of a sudden their income dries up and they're also kind of screwed. And so, but if you kind of separate yourself from that point, then you have a lot more freedom to kind of live how you want.
And do you think as business scales bigger, that those problems tend to go away or become more, and it's on us to resolve more of those things? Because I'm thinking, and I've gone to that place where business grows, we have
Yeah.
to hire more employees. Each employee has a
Yeah.
different personality, a different gear, something that drives them. It might not be money, it might be something else. Do you see those conflicts coming up as you scale in the business and we have to mature to solve those problems, or do they kind of go away if you put the people in place? I'm curious on your
Yeah. I think there's always problems. You just got different problems. Like early on, you're like, problem is like, how the hell does a business even work? And then it's kind of like, what do I sell? And then it's like, okay, I got this thing to sell, but then like, how do I actually sell it? And then it's kind of like, oh crap, this thing's actually selling. I can't do everything myself. Like, how do I hire my first person? And then it's like you hire a bunch of people, then you're like, crap, this employee that we fired because they were terrible is now suing me for whatever reason. So you got that kind of problem. And then later on, you do some partnerships, contracts, you just kind of accumulating these things over time. Somebody feels like, they also have an issue with something you did in the past. And so I think it's just always kind of different problems. Like you always have the option, and I've done this before, where you can just like, I've been successful, I'm going to go in a cave, I don't want any problems. And then to me personally, that created a different problem where you just feel kind of like what the heck am I doing? Like I've got these like skills and abilities and sort of like things I want to accomplish and ability to like help other people at the same time. And so then you kind of end up with like that as kind of a problem. So then you're kind of like, back in the arena, sort of building businesses and stuff, which I think is inevitably going to have issues because you're just interacting with so many people, putting so much stuff out there that I think it's just going to always have problems, but it's just different. And I think it's just part of life, part of business. It's either like you're growing and pushing and you're going to have some of those things, or you do nothing and then you kind of like don't feel very fulfilled, I think.
Yeah, that's very wise and a good way to put it. When I was first starting, it was kind of like okay, when I hit my first million, then I'm gonna sit back and relax. And yeah, again, like I allocated my time on what I wanted to do, but the less I did and the more I pulled away from the business, like you said, the more unfulfilled I felt.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, we have all this money and we're selling these products and we have cash flow, we see it, but it's like, okay, what am I doing now? Just sitting. A lot of the laptop lifestyle or
Yeah.
vagabonding gets kind of overrated, at least for me.
Yeah.
Because I want to be involved. I want to go to the next level. I want to invest into our people, into the company. Like I feel honored when someone's working and saying, "Hey, I believe in you guys." It's like,
Mhm.
okay, I believe in you. I want to give back to you.
Yeah.
So that's very interesting. I wanna go and stick on amazing, like what your guys' goals are for the next 12 months, where you see the market. I don't, you might have a lot of insights, like what's going on with Amazon. What's your guys' plans? Are you guys increasing, decreasing,
Yeah.
looking at different avenues? Would love to hear your take.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty interesting because it's like, I feel like with Amazing, it's like, we did very well with Amazing Selling Machine and it still sells well. Our marketing has always been kind of like what was the main thing to do, 5, 6, 7 years ago. You do webinars, you do video launch funnels, and you get affiliates to promote. Then over the time, I just kind of have had until I think recently, like kind of a love-hate relationship with social media. It's kind of like, I don't like being on there. I feel like it's like a huge waste of time, but it's like everyone's on there. And it's like, so I've kind of resolved some of that where I think it's a good way to reach people because it's just people. They're looking for inspiration, they're looking for content and all that kind of stuff. So I've started putting a lot more on there. But in this time period, these people, usually younger, usually something in their 20s, like you were kind of alluding to, is like there's a million Amazon courses out there now, and they're all teaching the same stuff, like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. They're all like, oh, here's how you select a product on Amazon. Here's how you source a product from Alibaba, like the same stuff we've been teaching for like 10 years. But I mean, like, I feel like now, based on our experience of building this coffee company, what I've seen other people do is that I think there's a huge opportunity to build what I call an omni-channel brand, which is basically like you build a brand that can be sold anywhere. I prefer to sell on my own website as the foundation because you control the whole experience. There's no other products on your site. You get the customer, you can upsell, cross-sell, you can build subscription, repeat sales, and you get this customer list, which is a big part of like, I think my original appeal to like internet marketing stuff is like, I was like, these people get these email lists of like hundreds of thousands of people. They can send an email and they can make like $50,000, which I was like, this is crazy. And so it's like, when you sell on your own website and e-commerce, you can do the same thing. It's like all of a sudden now you have an email list, now you have a customer list, an SMS list that you can just literally send an email and make more money, which isn't really possible on Amazon. So I prefer to have Shopify now as the foundation of the business. But like us, I don't have a problem with Amazon. It's just I don't want my whole business being based on there and then being able to wake up one day, your account suspended or some competitor bash you with negative reviews could literally take your business away overnight, or at least for a month or so, which is a nightmare. And so I prefer to like have the foundation on my own site and then also sell these other places, which is exactly what we've done. So now we're bringing all that training and systems and processes into Amazing with, kind of different training programs, starting a mastermind, that kind of thing, to really help a lot of people that are either starting from scratch and they want to build an e-commerce business, or they already have one, but they're frustrated and tired of being so Amazon dependent.
Yeah, that's so good. A lot of my network, a lot of you guys listening want still to just focus on Amazon because they've made things so easy where it's like, ship it to us, we'll ship it to your customer, we'll handle the returns, which is all great. Like they've set the standard up here, everyone else has to follow. But it's, I think, a word of advice from you, and I've been saying this to our guys as well, is definitely don't put all your eggs on the Amazon basket. Like focus on the brand first, focus on your customers first. That what are they getting out of buying your product? If it's just another phone case protector or baby diaper, whatever, on Amazon, it's like, how long is that going to last? You are going to have competitors coming in, Amazon themselves, PPC costs going up, like no list to retarget. It's like, it's just a sales platform at this point, a very good one, the best one. But how are we differentiating? And we'll touch on the Shopify program later on. I know you guys have something going on, but maybe for the guys that are in the initial, maybe it's been like 12 months that they've started their business, they have a product on Amazon, but it's kind of like plateaued, or they don't know how to get it to that next level. What are like your best tips, advices on what they need to do to kind of go to that next level?
If they sell primarily on Amazon?
If they're primarily on Amazon, yes.
Yeah. For me nowadays, it's like really hard to get by selling like a Me Too kind of product. Like, I think it's kind of crazy to be building a business doing that. It's like, there's people that really know the Amazon game, and they've got deep pockets. And if you want to dump like a couple hundred grand, literally a couple $100,000 to just muscle your way through getting tons of sales at a low price, get a bunch of reviews, and like muscle your way into a product. And then maybe after like a year or two, it's like, maybe it could be super profitable for you. But most people, I don't think, want to do that. And that's not actually what I would recommend. I think it's much better to create a product that actually has like some form of differentiation. And to me, the model that we've been teaching on like the Shopify side is like, sell a mass market product, just have like some differentiation. And I think that same thing, if I owned a brand that was like 95% on Amazon, I would still take that same approach. I'd be like, okay, what's a product I can sell that actually has some level of like good differentiation? Doesn't have to be completely custom, prototyping, all that kind of stuff. It's just something unique about it that I think is actually valuable to people. And then I think that's going to help you win on Amazon, but also, to me nowadays, more importantly, start building a sales channel off of Amazon, which I think is like crazy not to do even as an Amazon seller, because like if you're doing say 100 grand a month on Amazon, people are already looking for your brand outside of Amazon. And so I've seen it time and time again. If you go ahead and set up a Shopify store, optimize it the right way, you can probably pick up an extra 10 grand in sales, like almost immediately, just by having a good solid presence on your own store. And then now you're getting all those benefits of a customer list, lead list, all those kind of things that I think can also help your business overall, diversify sales, add extra value, because now you're a multi-channel brand, not just like an FBA brand. So to me, it would all start with like having the right kind of product.
And okay, so let's say that same person doing 100K a month on Amazon, this is a platform that like it's trusted. People know they're getting that 1 to 2 day shipping. It's just like inbred into the culture that, okay, it's Amazon. There's no issues with credit card. I'm going to buy this. On Shopify, I feel like, and the conversion rates and sessions kind of show this, like conversion rates on Amazon's like whatever, let's say 10%. Shopify 2 to 5% at most.
Yep.
So people are like less willing or like trusting to buy on Shopify. What is some of those trip offers that can juice it up on Shopify? Like, what do we have to give something extra on Shopify? Does there have to be more value given to the customer, or perceived value given to the customer?
Yeah.
What are some things that you're noticing that like can make that one additional sale on Shopify?
Yeah, so I think there's like a couple pieces there. I think you're spot on with the conversion rate piece. Is like your conversion on Amazon, maybe 10 to 20%, which is super high. For that same product on your store, like you said, 2 to 5% would be like typical. So it's like, okay, your conversion rate's not going to be as high. One tool is to really ramp up your average order value. On Amazon, most people are just buying one unit at a time. But on Shopify, you can design all of your offers to get people to buy 3-4 units at a time. So you can give them just a really good deal for buying 3. And then before they even hit the cart, you're like, hey, do you want to add this extra thing to your cart? After they buy, you're like, hey, do you want a really good deal to add another unit to your order? It's typically called a one-click upsell. So you're doing all the sequence of things to really ramp up your average order value. I haven't looked in a while. I don't know what our average order value on Amazon is, but most people buy like one bag of coffee. So it's like, $20-something. Our average order value on Shopify is $70 because of these mechanisms we kind of put in place. So that's one piece, like really ramp up your average order value to counteract the low conversion rate compared to Amazon. The other thing is like on Amazon, there's like a million distractions on your product page because they don't really care who they buy from. So they're pitching everyone else's products, all these review things, frequently bought together, like look at these other sponsored listings and stuff. So they're just making money left and right, but it doesn't really benefit you as a seller in most cases. On your store, if you send people to a landing page, it's only your business. Like there's no other distraction. It's like you have every opportunity possible to really sell people on your product. And so like what I think matters more than anything is having the maximum amount of proof, which means like every form you can think of. Like on our page, I've counted, we've got like 13 different types of proof and probably like 50 total proof elements. That means like individual written reviews, star ratings, influencer, kind of like Instagram screenshots, news clippings, review site ratings, logos from big media companies, video reviews, literally, and photos of customers. Literally every form of possible proof that this product does what you say it's going to do is going to counteract some of that, to get people to actually want to buy from your site. And the kind of like other piece is, I think a lot of people don't realize this, but I kind of noticed this as like a consumer myself, is the one thing I think Shopify has done, whether it was intentional or not, or just kind of easier for them operationally, is your whole store can look like anything. You can have a super ugly page, you can have a super nice looking website, anything. But once you hit the checkout part, it almost always looks almost identical. Like 95% of every checkout page on Shopify looks the same. I think psychologically for consumers, they're used to seeing that kind of checkout page. And so I think that is kind of one piece they've done, knowingly or not, to counteract the whole like I'm comfortable buying from Amazon effect. So that's a nice part, which is why it's crazy not to use Shopify if you're going to sell on your own site.
Yeah, that's so good. There's so much good info there. So I appreciate you sharing this. And guys, if you're listening to this, like, and you're on Amazon or on Shopify and trying to get to Amazon, like I would rewind this and watch it. Maybe even reach out to Matt myself if you have questions on that. But I want to transition into your guys's Shopify program. Maybe tell us a little like synopsis of what it is, what it can help with,
Sure.
and then how people can find that and get some more info on that.
Yep, for sure. Yeah, so we've created a program to kind of put all of this together, knowing that people are in a lot of different places. Like you may be looking to start your first product, first brand in an e-commerce business. You may have an existing e-commerce brand that, you know, but you're kind of looking like, I think I need a new product. Or you could be like, I only sell on Amazon, I want to sell on Shopify. How do I scale that? So there's kind of a few different scenarios here. So we've built a program that's kind of like custom tailored based on where you're at. And so it includes training, Facebook group coaching calls every single week. First one's on product, supplier, and branding. Second one's on marketing, which is led by me. And then it includes like a one-on-one support with what we call client success manager. So you're not like hunting around in an online course, like how do I find stuff? Like they'll just point you and can answer most of your questions. And then we also started including, for some people anyways, a done for you sales funnel. So it's like one of the hardest parts on Shopify is like getting the landing page right, the upsell sequence right, and the post purchase and even lead kind of autoresponder flows. And so we'll basically just do that for you. Like our team is doing that for you. So it kind of includes all of the stuff, and it's more or less designed as like a 6-month program. So you may be able to like jump in there and be like, okay, I'm going to find my first product. Let's hit the ground running. Or you may jump in there and say like, I've got this Amazon brand. How do I rapidly scale up on Shopify? And so we'll kind of point you and work with you in the right direction to make sure you get as much value as quickly as possible. And so kind of easiest way to find out more about that is if you just go to DTC as a direct to consumer, DTChero.com. Literally on the homepage, there's a little form that you fill that thing out. You'll get access to a video that kind of walks you through like our general approach. And then if it makes sense, you can kind of book a call with our team and see if it makes sense. So that's the easiest way to kind of access that.
Awesome. And I'll leave those in the description below so you guys can find it. And if people have questions as well, like where's the best place they can DM you, kind of just asking about this stuff, or just some generic questions? I know Instagram might be best. Is that...
Yeah, it's an Instagram. Yeah, my username is Matt Clark TX, as in Texas, because literally everything else Matt Clark has taken. So I always have to have something weird after my name.
I've been noticing a lot more of like fake accounts. I think
people
might have followed me. So like
crazy.
It's just nuts. I don't know. Obviously the end game is like some kind of scam, but it's so crazy.
Yeah, usually they're trying to get into like buy some sort of weird Bitcoin thing or something or other. And so, yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. Mine is Matt Clark TX and like nothing else. It's spelled correctly. You know, there's nothing else. And so, yeah, those kind of things are popping up all the time. And so it's like, I don't know if it would help getting verified and stuff. And so maybe I need to kind of like try to jump through those hurdles. But yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. It's a problem.
So obviously I'll leave that exact link in the description for Instagram. If anyone else is DMing you, do not message them. I know, Matt, you're probably never going to DM people, but yeah, I'll leave all those links And this is amazing. I wish we had some more time to dig deep into a lot of because I think there's a lot more to this. This is kind of surface level, just brushing it and see
Yeah.
what we can pick up. But hopefully down the line, maybe we can dive deep into some of these aspects if people want. We do have a private community on Discord as well. Maybe again down the line we can do like a shared screen of how Shopify funnel works or what's the
Yeah.
best tagline to get an email address or whatever that might be.
Sure.
But I appreciate you. Thank you for your time, and we'll chat soon.
Yeah, thanks, Arjun. Thanks for having me.